What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another Jujutsu Kaisen video. Alright guys, we got ourselves a event that's still going on. Make sure you are participating. Remember, you have yourself a chance to get quite a few of these cubes, plus an ability to get yourself an SSR unit. Make sure you are doing this. Do not skip out on this event. This could be one of the best ways to start off strong, and at the very least, get some extra things along the way. Now, what we're going to talk about today, guys, very simply is, look at that! Look at that. We got ourselves an SSR. Perfect. Now we just gotta wait for Mr. Gojo to pop up so I can get him. So this is what my backpack looks like, by the way, here. As you guys can see my characters, all my cubes here. So this is gonna be a big one. I'm gonna add this to the backpack for now. You can remove this later on, by the way, if you want to. But for now, this is what we're gonna be. I have yet to get a recollection bit, which is crazy. So make sure pre-register, do this event, get yourself a free SSR character along the way. Now, what we're gonna talk about, guys, real quick, is the best free-to-play team setups early, mid to late game. I've got the ability now to use a end game Japanese account. Shout out to my boy Grim who provided this for me. So we're gonna log into the account. We're gonna show you guys what the best setups are for early game. Very accessible units, ones that are easy to get. Some of them are gonna be SRs, some of them are gonna be SSRs, but nonetheless, these are going to be some of the best teams you can use to finish from beginning, middle to end, and they will carry you pretty much throughout the entire game until some of the new units come out, such as Utah, etc., which are going to be considered limited units, right? So hold on, let me log in real quick. We'll be right back. All right, boys and girls, we're back. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to put these teams together for you, and then I'm going to explain to you what each unit does and why they belong where they belong. Now, the way we're going to handle this is we're going to look at the teams together. So we'll do early game, mid game, and then end game, and we can then go through each character and discuss why they are there and why you want to use them. Now, we're going to do this. Shout out to the fandom over here that actually goes through each unit for us. We're going to go through each one of these together, and then we can click on these units and exactly explain to you what their roles are and why they are where they are in the game. Okay, so first off, let's start off with the actual team itself. So early game, you're gonna have access to a lot of these characters. And I remember a lot of you guys are gonna want to go for the Gojos, obviously. So the red one is accessible. Remember, the red one does have a gimmick. After 7 turns, he does disappear, but he takes 0 damage, but is an insane damage dealer. So absolutely worthwhile going for. Early game, mid game, end game, it doesn't really matter. So early game access to character. So first off, couple units here that you can get access to very early on, and I'm going to show you guys which ones. Okay, so let's start off with the basic unit. So right now we have ourselves 2 SR units that are in there. We're going to go through each one. I'm going to also find, where's Yuji here? Let me just quickly find them, and then we're going to show you guys how this team is set up and why you want to use it. Actually, there she is. We're going to put her in as well too. She'll be your healer. Toji does not actually exist for quite some time, so we're not going to actually use him. Panda's another one here. That's a great unit to have. And then right here, in terms of your so this team here is fantastic. So this team here can be used actually as an early base team, very early on. So you have your healer, your buffer, your tank, and your damage dealer. Okay, so these are 3 SRs and 1 SSR. Now, if you don't have Panda here, you can of course switch it out for Yuji, which is going to be, let me see which one it is. I'm trying to figure out where he is in the list. Where is he? It's not the rare version. It's the SSR version. There he is, right there. That one, the green one. Okay, so you can use this one as well too. Now, let's go through this list here, and I'll kind of go over each one and what each one does. Okay, so let's start off with the first one, which is going to be the principal. That SR unit is one of the best SR units in the game. So Yaga here especially is one that you'll use pretty much throughout the entire game. I've mentioned this on the tier list already. So the main reason why he's such a good unit is because of his buff, specifically the skill 2 here, which increases all taijutsu damage by 27.8% for 4 turns, and then increases all jujutsu damage by 27.8%. So this unit here will pretty much boost all of your power throughout the entire fight. Not to mention, he also does damage received by the opponent by 27.8% for 2 turns, increasing all your damage with a skill 3. And then his ultimate also decreases the selected enemy's taijutsu damage by 25.4%, jujutsu damage by 25.4%, and then also increases the damage received by the opponent by 25.4%. So overall, this is by far, if not one of the best buffing unit in the game for beginning to end. It doesn't matter if you use him early game, doesn't matter if you use him end game, he is still going to be one of the best units in the game for you to use. So absolutely highly recommend using him as soon as you get him. He will carry you from early to mid to end game. Okay, now we have Nanami over here. who is also a very, very strong SR unit, a combined support unit as well too. Now the beauty of him is the fact that he does damage equal to 50% Taijutsu and Jujutsu, and you remember that Yaga also obviously provides you those buffs for both, so he instantly does more damage. He also increases his own damage by 27.8%, but he also increases all allies damage by 20.9%, so this will boost all of your allies, excluding himself, for more damage. So if you have Gojo in the team, or if you have Yuji in the team, they're just going to be doing a ton of damage themselves with this buff with it, right? And then right over here, you guys can see the third skill deals melee combined damage equal to 100% Taijutsu and 100% Jujutsu on the selected enemy. And then ultimate ratio technique here increases all allies damage by 14.3%, plus does damage to the opponent by both Taijutsu and Jujutsu. So this right here, this unit alone is a great support combined unit, both for DPS and support, works incredibly well with Yaga, and pretty much gives all of your units the buffs they need to do extra damage, and this stacks obviously with Yaga's buffs, giving you guys the ultimate damage. Now this unit also will work very well early to mid to end game, so this is another SR unit you absolutely want to focus on, and you definitely want to make sure you push him to the higher limits if possible. Now a couple other units here that we have that are SRs, we're going to look at them real quick here, is going to be Shoko. Shoko is your healer. Okay, she's going to be, that's her role. She's Taijutsu. So you want to keep her on here for a couple of reasons. Number one, she decreases the selected enemy's crit hit resistance by 6.6%, obviously allowing you the opportunities to crit more often. And then right here, recovers the selected ally's HP by 80% of Jujutsu, deals low damage when used on a cursed spirit, recovers all allies by 150% of Jujutsu. This is where it matters most. Obviously, this heal is going to be a massive thing for you guys. So make sure you have her ready and available for you to boost your team's overall healing, especially in harder stages. A healer sometimes is required. You can, of course, DPS through the entire game if you're wailing, but for free-to-play players, it is going to matter quite a bit that you do have a healer in place to help you survive a lot of these attacks. Okay, so don't neglect that. Now, another really good unit here is an SR Momo. There's the SSR Momo, which I think is the best buffing unit in the game, but this Obstructor unit is fantastic. Deals great damage, increases all allies damage by 41.7% for 2 turns, 1 time. Also grants evasion to self, so she can avoid all damage there. Stunning all enemies, giving you the CC that you need in order to take an extra turn. This is a 50% chance, which is pretty high. Again, grants evasion and status to self, allowing her to survive again. And then of course the ultimate here, Jujutsu damage on all AoE damage, stuns all enemies 40% chance, and grants evasion to self. So this is very important because when it comes down to stuns, you absolutely want to use them as much as you possibly can, granting you a full turn, especially when they're AoE stuns like this with a high percentage chance, giving you guys the opportunity to have an extra turn overall, and then going back in and doing more damage, healing, buffing, whatever you need, right? Remember, the order always is usually buffers first and then damage dealers. The stun is incredible, especially with the ability to give you a chance to do even more damage on the next turn, or again, just rebuff or heal and get yourself going again. Okay, so there's another SR unit that you absolutely may want to focus on, and one that a lot of people will still use. The SSR version is a buffer. This one is more of an obstructor, which is a debuffing unit overall. Okay, so very good unit either way. So those are some of the SR units in the game that you will want to focus on early on. Okay, now if we go over the reds, this is not loading correctly. Let me see if I can load this properly. Where's Gojo? Do we have a, let me see if, oh, there's a placeholder here. Let me go to, no, they don't have it in yet. That's why. Okay, let me go to the tier list, and hopefully I can help you guys see Gojo. And he's so these are all units, by the way, that can be used throughout the entire game, end game as well too. Here was the SSR units. Let me see if I can find Gojo here. Why is he not on the list? Oh, there he is, blue. Okay, perfect. So this is the Gojo here that I was referring to, the blue one, right? The attacker. So this is the one with the gimmick. He is your end game, early game unit that you want to go for. But remember, he does have that gimmick. He leaves the battle after 7 turns. When Black Flash is performed, he'll increase his own critical hit rate. He does a ton of damage. So his first move, just a straight up Jujutsu 275% damage, single attack. His second skill is 200% Taijutsu damage. You don't want to use this. Just use the first skill. It does more damage. There's no need to use the second skill ever almost, unless you you've completely buffed your taijutsu way more than jujutsu, then it's a different story. But with the teams we've shown you guys, ideally you have both of these buffed up, and this is the one you want to focus on. This one increases damage by 75% for 3 turns. Amazing to use right before the ultimate or just in general. So have this one up before you cast your ultimate. And like you see here, the ultimate here deals 525% jujutsu damage to all enemies. And then this one here will pretty much wipe out an entire group of enemies, including some bosses, and does a ton of break damage as well too. So this is going to be your go-to SSR unit if you plan to go with a Gojo early on, at least. That's the one you want to focus on. And then the next one is going to be a green Yuji here. There is right there, and this is going to be your other attacker. He's a taijutsu user. So overall, ability to attack souls, resistant to poison and soul damage when Black Flash is performed, increases own Black Flash rate for 3 turns. You can see here 100% taijutsu. This is where it gets really good. Skill 2 increases own critical hit rate by 89.2%, which is crazy. Pretty much guaranteeing you a critical hit rate. Increases own Black Flash rate by 41.7, so you'll definitely be doing Black Flash after this, and also fills own skill gauge, ultimate skill gauge by 150%. Triple kick does 200% taijutsu to a selected enemy 4 times, decreases the enemy selected critical hit resistance by 20%. Combine those two, you're doing ultimate damage quite a bit. Deals 450% taijutsu damage to a selected enemy, hit 3 times, and of course if you have Black Flash, that's additional hits you'll do there. So there's a couple of the groups that you want to use in this game early on. So this right here is a great team. This will get you as far as you need to go. Taking him out, if you want to put Gojo in, you can put Gojo in as well too, obviously. And then for some of the other units that are coming out, like Panda, you can use Panda if you want to have the healer on there. Panda's great at distracting, and then that gives Nanami obviously the ability to do more nuking and buffing. Plus, Panda can take a ton of hits and revive himself. So that's where your Shoko will actually end up doing a lot of your healing for you. And then once the limited unit starts coming out, guys, these Gojos here, for example, this Yuta, etc., Toji, then you start looking at different units. But by then, after Global's out for a couple months and we start getting these units, we'll do a new up-to-date free-to-play account team guide, okay? But for now, that's your global best setup going. Try using those units, try getting those units. A lot of them are accessible. You'll get a free Gojo when you finish your beginner's guide, when you can select a Gojo. So go for that one there, and that will give you guys the ultimate team until end game. And then when brand new units start coming out, when limited units start coming out, we can start focusing more on other team builds. Again, shout out to Green for providing me this information and walking me through this and letting me see his account. This is Payne. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.